the Big Easy Chef here. This time, we're going to make roast beef. This is your classic roast beef. This beef makes perfect roast beef dinner. It also makes great hot roast beef sandwiches and cold roast beef sandwiches. It's easy to roast this beef, and once you try it, this will be your go-to roast beef for sure. Let's not waste any more time. Why don't you and I run into that kitchen and see what's a-shaking and get to baking. Okay, I bought this huge, whole, top round at Costco. You have to ask for it. They don't have it out in the display case. This top round was 14.79 pounds, and it was $3.99 per pound, with a total cost of $59.01. Now, you are more than likely saying, this is way more than what you wanted to pay for a dinner. Hang on, as once this roast is cooked, you're going to freeze up what's left over for future dinner and sandwiches. You know, when you want those easy, fast dinners, which I'll talk about a little later in greater detail. This roast isn't full of fat. It's nice and lean with plenty of flavor. It's time to start preheating your oven. Set it to 500 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, the first step is to get this big hunk of meat out of the package and set it in a strainer. Now rinse your roast with plenty of cold water. Now that the roast is rinsed off, dry it with paper towels. Now place the roast in a roasting pan on a rack. Start with rubbing the roast all over with oil. I'm using light olive oil. Just about any oil that doesn't have a strong flavor will work. Coat all of the roast with oil. Now it's time to salt and pepper this roast all over. Be generous with that salt and pepper. Okay, with that done, it's time to place this roast in the oven, the one that's been preheated to 500 degrees. Leave the roast in the 500 degree oven for 30 minutes. This is going to add some nice color to our roast, as we're going to be cooking our roast slow and low for the rest of the time. Cooking it slow and low isn't going to provide that nice color, but it's going to have our roast come out nice and tender and juicy. Turn your oven down to 225 degrees Fahrenheit. We're going to be roasting this roast for around 3.5 hours. At this point, you can flavor your roast. You could add some crushed garlic, some rosemary, bay leaves, etc. So we have a total cooking time of 4 hours. You have to plan this ahead of time because it isn't fast food, but it's delicious food. After cooking about 2 hours, I checked the temperature of the meat and it was 117 degrees Fahrenheit. A little too rare. So after cooking the roast another 1.5 hours, the roast reached a temperature of 137 degrees Fahrenheit. The roast was a nice medium. Still a little pink in the center. Now you could cook the roast from rare all the way to well done. You just need to check the temperature and take it out right under the desired temperature, as the temperature will rise anywhere from 5 to 10 degrees as the roast sets before slicing. You need to rest this roast after you take it out of the oven. I let this roast rest for 30 minutes with a towel placed over the top of the roast. You can see just how juicy this roast turned out. I think it's the perfect doneness for this type of roast, but everyone has their own taste for how beef should be cooked. When slicing this roast, make sure to slice it across the grain. This will make sure your slices of beef are tender. This roast goes great with some mashed potatoes, some corn, and plenty of pan gravy. Okay, now you know what time it is. It's time to dig in. Oh, this roast has plenty of flavor. It's tender. And did I already say tasty? Okay, so now you know how to make this classic roast beef, and you can see just how easy it is to make this roast. The next day, after the roast is set in the refrigerator overnight, I sliced the roast into sandwich slices, but a little on the thicker side. Then I decided to make a roast beef sandwich for lunch. I had this great sourdough French bread. I added some mayonnaise to the first slice of bread, then some sliced dill pickles, then some lettuce leaves. Now I piled on the roast beef. You can see how lean this roast is and how perfect it looks, and about how thick it is sliced. Okay, so I added 3 slices. No, make that 4 slices. On the last slice, you can see a little fat. Now if you want it, you could trim off the fat, but what the hell, I left the fat on. I added mayonnaise and mustard to the top slice of bread. Now you could add other things in making this sandwich. How about some tomatoes, onions, pepperoncinis? What's your favorite ingredient for making a roast beef sandwich? Leave a comment down below. Okay, with this tasty sandwich made, you know what time it is. It's time to dig in. Oh, this sandwich is out of the world. Let's recap. We rinsed the roast, dried, rubbed with oil. Added salt and pepper. Roasted in a hot oven for 30 minutes. Reduce the heat in the oven. Roast it until the roast was cooked to a medium rare, which took 3.5 hours. We let the roast rest for 30 minutes before slicing. Then we sliced the roast and served the roast with some pan gravy, mashed potatoes, and corn. The next day, after the roast had been setting in the refrigerator overnight, we sliced the roast and froze the slices. There you have it, perfect roast beef. Remember what they say, you are what you eat, so eat healthy. Until next time, I am the Big Easy Chef.